So the sound of the gong means hello, hello, church has begun. And I say that with a grain of salt because, for example, our worship associate is still making her way here, their way here. And so we're all going to have a fun, exciting morning together. And we're going to roll with every single punch. So, we are so glad you're here today. This is the sacred time that we set aside to center ourselves in love and to bless the world. Just a reminder, so important, because I know you are generous, caring people. We're going to have a blood drive here next week. Hopefully you will participate. As you know, the need for blood is very high. It's going to be simple. There's a place to sign up for appointments in the social hall. We hope you will do that. And I want to invite you just to take a moment to let your heart fill with gratitude for just every single person who loves and serves this congregation. Think about our board members. Think about our ushers. Think about our religious educators. Think about all the people who help with our justice ministries. Think about Dr. Les and the choir. Jess is up there on tech. Bernise is making her way in here now for her first turn as our worship associate. Woohoo! Got it? Come on in. The path is narrow, but the way is wide. And so as our hearts swell with gratitude, let's just open them up to hear the music that's going to get us started.
Guide my feet.
our chalice words this morning. Oh, and we've got a chalice lighter. Here we go.
Today we are celebrating the lives of our trans, intersex, non-binary, and gender-expansive beloveds, our friends, our families, our children, our neighbors, and ourselves. All the artists or people whose work is shared today will be from trans and genderqueer community. Trans Lives Matter, and our chalice lighting words are by UU Minister Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto, who uses they, them pronouns, and who encourages us, boldly you must hang your light, neon buzzing bright, and do not be chagrined when your light blinks. Is a silent song of yes, you are welcome here. Boldly give your love and arrive at your joy.
And now let's sing together. We're going to sing There's a River Flowing My Soul. If you'll rise to the peak of your physical or your spiritual stature, we'll sing together. I have been looking forward to this for a while. Ugh. All right. So, two things, guys. I have a story for you today. I shouldn't push that with my foot. That's rude. And then I have a present for you. But you have to listen to the story first, okay? All right. So this story is a fabulous story. And it's called, let's put it up there. When Aiden Became a Brother, okay? And this one has won some awards. This one has won the Stonewall Book Award. And the story begins like this. When Aiden was born, now everybody thought he was a girl. And his parents gave him a very pretty name. And his room, it looked like a girl's room, and he wore clothes that other girls like to wear. It seems like some pink thing. Other girls like to wear that sometimes. But there was a problem. Let's look. As Aiden got bigger, he hated the sound of that name. He felt like it belonged to someone else. And he always ripped or stained his clothes or made them muddy on purpose because he didn't like them very much, right? So he made a mess with them. And everybody thought he was just a different kind of girl. But one day, when he got some scissors and he cut off all his hair, he realized he was ready because he was really another kind of boy. And it was a little hard to tell his parents what he knew about himself. But fortunately, it was even harder not to. And his parents listened to him. They said they loved him. And it took people time to adjust, but they learned a lot. See, they went to some picnics and had family meetings with other families that had kids that were transgender, just like Aiden, right? So that's what was going on. And he explored different ways of being a boy. He tried out some names until he found one he liked, and then he picked that name. And he changed his bedroom into a place that he liked, and then he took much better care of his clothes because they felt good on him, right? He was wearing clothes that felt good. And then one day this happened. His parents had a surprise for him. Does anybody know what this surprise might be? Anybody got a speculation? What do you think? Oh, baby, mom's pregnant. And Aiden was like, oh my gosh, does that mean I get to be a big brother? And of course it does. But Aiden had some thoughts about this. This is what was going on. So one day, for example, they were out, and this lady over here comes up and says, ooh, what is it? Is it a boy or is it a girl? And Aiden was like, oh no, I don't love that. I don't love that question. And his mom handled it. She said, it's a baby. And then Aiden was thinking about what it meant to be a big brother. He had lots of thoughts. Can we go on to the next picture? And he remembered, for example, that when he was little, the name he was given, it didn't feel good and he didn't like it. And he was worried, what if the baby gets a name that they don't like? And I don't want them to feel as bad as I felt. So he tried to imagine a lot of names that might fit a baby no matter who they grew up to be. So you can see things like moss and rain and river and leaf, cloud. And then, so he's thinking and thinking. He's really worried, and he wants to be the very best big brother, and he doesn't want his little sibling to have some of the same problems. So one day he just goes and talks to his mom. He's worried about something. She's like, are you feeling okay? And he's like, he puts his hands over mom's belly where he thinks the baby's ears are. Do you see that? And he's like, do you think the baby will be happy with everything? I don't want them to feel like I did when I was little, but what if I get things wrong? What if I don't know how to be a big brother? Did anybody who's a big sibling feel like you weren't sure when the baby came if you might be good with the baby? Did anybody feel that way? Yeah, right? You worry about those things. And here's what mom said. She hugged him tight, and she said, when you were born, we didn't know that you were going to be our son. And we made some mistakes, but you helped us fix them. And you taught us how important it is to love someone for exactly who they are. And this baby is so lucky to have you, and so are we. And then, indeed, the baby came, and they had a celebration of being a baby. And it turns out that Aiden did know how to love someone, and that is the most important part of being a big sibling. Would you agree? Yeah. So that is how Aiden became a brother. And this book has something in common with the presents. How can we do this? How can several of you come together to open this? Can some folks come help me? Let's get at least 3 people to come help. All right. Come on up if you want to help. Give it just a second. Zaylee, you want to come? Y'all come. And everybody's hands on it and open it up. Open it up. Here we go. What's in there? Can we pull those out? Everybody take one. All of these books are banned books. And this collection is for all of you here. So that if you and your parents want to read them, we will have them for you. Because we believe that people should be able to read the books that matter to them and feel different. Can I hold them up? We're not going to take them away right now. We're just going to... I'm going to show folks what we've got here. Thank you, thank you. And then we're going to sing you to your class. All right, let me show you what we've got because I think you'll be annoyed by what they've banned. So, of course, I'm going to put them back in the box, sweetie. Zaylee, let's open it. So when Aiden became a brother, Stella brings the family. On Mother's Day, she brings her 2 dads. We Are Grateful, which is a book by Indigenous people. Sorry, you guys. That was banned because gratitude, not so cool, I guess. And Tango Makes Three, one of the most popular books. I think that won a Caldecott or Newbery. The Name Jar. About an immigrant to this country. Separate is Never Equal, right? About a special school segregation fight in California. Solway by Lupita Nyong'o, I forgot her last name. Band, of course. And last but not least, Sparkle Boy we've got. So these books are here for you guys to read with your families, and we'll put them in our library in the social hall. And now I want to invite us all. We're going to sing you as you go to your classes. If you're new today and your kiddo's going for the first time, why don't you go with them, see where their classroom is. Everybody remember, you need to pick up your kiddos within 15 minutes of the service so that our teachers can come socialize. But we'll sing to you. And thank you for sharing this time with me. And if somebody's heading that way and wants to take it, that'd be great. Can we sing? Thanks. We're going to take a moment to close the doors, take a minute to breathe deeply into this place so we can share a moment of prayer, meditation, reflection, whatever word speaks to you deeply. Just take a second to arrive. In a world where trans lives are held sacred, each and every human being has the capacity to flower and know themselves holy. We see one another through eyes healed of enmity. We expand our ability to cherish all our human kin. In a world where the trans experience is welcome, each person has more space to flourish into their own fullness, more room to know, to be, to become. We expand our capacity to change when new knowledge informs our experience. We foster delight in the discovery of new pathways of being human together. In a world where trans voices are included, the path from the margin to the center grows shorter, and our capacity to listen to each and all, to learn and grow and share power, is magnified. Because trans lives matter, you also have new certainty that you are held in the wide open spaces of the hearts of those faithfully gathered. And grace arises from knowing that every child born should have the opportunity to blossom fully into their own nature, unashamed of any part of themselves. Because trans lives matter, we are more whole today than yesterday. In recognition of the holiness and complexity of the human experience, let us pause now in silence to offer up the prayers of our individual hearts. Amen, Ashe, blessed be, Aho. Joys and concerns.
Now is the time to acknowledge our joys or sorrows with a ritual of water and rocks. For all that grieves our hearts, we add salt to brine the water in the vessel, seeded from water of our water communion. For all that brings our hearts joy or celebration, we scatter flower petals to symbolize our happiness or contentment, also seeded with water from our water communion. I invite you now to form 2 lines at the railing there, and then when you leave, you can come around this way and go back to your seat. If you have shared a joy, know we rejoice with you. And if you have shared a sorrow, know that you're held in love and care by the community. We add these last rocks for all the joys and sorrows of our community carried by those who are not present with us today. Our community is one community, gathered or apart. I'm proud to offer some words from the Transforming Hearts Collective. Unitarian Universalist leaders who are trans and non-binary share this with us about what it means to be a radically welcoming congregation, something we strive to be, especially in a state where the lives of our trans, non-binary, intersex, and gender-expansive beloveds are under threat. Zir Alex Capitan, Reverend Michael Slack, and Theo Drake write, radical welcome. In a radically welcoming congregation, trans, non-binary people and their families are fully valued as an integrated part of the congregation. Their needs and experiences are centered in a way that transforms the community as a whole and creates more liberation for all people from gender-based oppression. The message to this is, we are people of many genders and sexualities. Gender diversity is sacred. And the goal is, the congregation embodies the belief that each of us is enriched when all of us can express ourselves fully and learn from one another. But what will it take? The effort. Everyone takes responsibility for fostering belonging and relationship building. Community members of all ages are supported in rejecting harmful gender norms. Attention is given to all of the ways people can show up as leaders. And then the result of all this is people of many genders are reflected in membership and leadership. Members grow deeper in their faith through relationship with one another, constantly reshaping the ministries of the congregation with all people in mind. Let us continuously strive to meet the high goal of full reverence for the glorious diversity of human experience. And I'm sorry, it just, oh. Did you get to the end of that? Because it was important. Oh. Okay, let's see. Oh, music, okay. I get a chance to recover.
So I did some research on transgender composers and discovered there are quite a few who have written music for choir. And the piece that I chose to do today I thought would be a really good fit for us and our purposes. It does have a lot of words, so that's why I've given you a handout. I hope most everybody has a handout in case you want to follow along. It's not a sing-along at all, but in case you want to follow along the words, this is Hope On by composer Michael Busowitz, Quorum, she, her. And I'd like to acknowledge our soloist, Emily Day.
Letting go of all I know, near or far. sex, somehow you always knew. You can hold your head up high, don't be afraid. You have a source of power you cannot deny. Even when you feel paralyzed, your heart is oversized, and you feel compromised. Just take one step at a time, then let out a roar. Let the other stuff go and let yourself soar. Overcoming resistance and pain by ignoring the truth in you that you are radiant, radiant.
So every now and then, when I'm finding myself talking about preaching to someone who doesn't do that task all the time, when they're serious about it, when they're asking genuinely, not just casually, I find myself beginning with this very true thing. Each Sunday that I preach, I know that I'm standing in a room filled with people who are bringing their whole hearts to a communal table. And some people arrive with confusion or loneliness. They're hoping to catch a glimpse of wisdom, or maybe they just want to rest in the company of others. Other people arrive with deep wounds, hurting. Maybe somebody's contemplating divorce. Maybe someone has just received terrible news. Someone else is bereaved. Plenty of people arrive very eager to find out how they can be a part of making the world a better place. And still others arrive with some special excitement or joy. They're celebrating a new job. Maybe there's a longed-for pregnancy, or they have a dearly loved friend in tow. And the preacher's job, each time I rise to share a good word, is to hope to include each and all in the same service somehow, somewhere. Now that may seem like it could be a question then. In a service, for example, like one celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility, is it intended to speak primarily to the folks interested in making the world a better place? And the answer to that actually is no. I mean, yes, right? That being a house of worship and a community of faith that celebrates Trans Day of Visibility certainly does make the world a better place, and very decidedly so in a time when a significant proportion of political leaders in this country have decided to use their power and their voices to attack especially transgender youth, who are among our most vulnerable kids. And we're going to talk a little bit about that for sure. But no, celebrating Trans Day of Visibility is a spiritual practice so much more profound than the acts of solidarity that it can represent. Because when we welcome anyone, we are showing one another that we welcome you. Whoever you are, however you name yourself and know yourself, when we pause in acts of worship to celebrate our radical welcome, we are reminding ourselves that our hearts, our minds, and yes, our doors are open to each other. And when we celebrate transness, when we celebrate queerness, when we celebrate heterosexual love, and we celebrate Black lives and Indigenous voices and Latinx stories and Asian identities, and when we celebrate the bodies that we each inhabit in all their beauty and all their brokenness, we hold open the door a little wider. And we take the time to see and celebrate the lived realities of anyone among us. And we create more space, and we create more care for everyone. We begin to practice a new way of being present to one another, We begin to recognize in a new or maybe a newly remembered way the shape of our humanness, all that we share beyond difference. And that knowing each other can hold us when we're in the tension of learning about our differences. Celebrating trans lives is a part of our spiritual commitment to recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of everyone, the essential wholeness and holiness of every person. And in the face of a power like that, what can hold us back from one another? If by sharing our pronouns, we can include more people, literally include more people, literally save lives, broaden our welcome, who among us would rebel? If by learning something new, we become new people, better people, building a better world, why would we hesitate to do that? So it's important not to doubt for a moment that our welcome, our practice, our inclusion, and our efforts build a better world. Think about Bernise just reading that aloud, right? In a place like this. That's a better world. To quote just one statistic, just one out of many, transgender youth who are provided with gender-affirming care are 73% less likely to commit suicide. We can reduce mortality in our most vulnerable children by 73% by believing them when they tell us who they are, and by welcoming them into our hearts and communities at every age. Who among us is going to hesitate to save children's lives? One of the things that happens when we lift up and celebrate the experiences of our neighbors, of our friends, our families, is that we discover in real time both how remarkable our stories are, they're all individual, but also how familiar much of our lived experience can be. We begin to see each other in one another's eyes. So, for example, maybe a straight white man, maybe a baby boomer or something, can look into the eyes of a biracial, non-binary, 20-year-old steelworker, and they can find commonality, as well as discover how their different life experiences have shaped them differently. When we celebrate each other, we practice seeking to understand one another. We celebrate the best of what makes us unique, and that creates more room to help us remember what we hold in common and the world we hope to create together. So, yes, we make the world a better place when we celebrate Trans Day of Visibility, which, by the way, is actually March 31st. We're early celebrating it, but I wanted to have a Sunday for it. But we also do it when we celebrate International Women's Day, or when we break bread with our Afghani neighbors and learn from them, and then the stories flow on. But from a spiritual perspective, these practices of welcome help us all. They help us know each one of ourselves as whole and holy. They give us new language. They give us permission and opportunity to say, yes, I am welcome. You are welcome. Our whole lives are welcome here. We don't have to leave any part of us behind at the door when we come in here. Think about how many people have been in a congregation and have said out loud, I couldn't bring that part in with me to that congregation. I had to leave it at the door. Not here. Only love that transcends and uplifts can save the world. So in closing, in celebration, I'm going to share two pieces of poetry by trans poets. You know, we Unitarian Universalists often find our souls lifted in poetry. That's our most commonly held sacred text. And so I'm going to offer the words of these poets to seal our time together. So the first one is called Sestina, written as though Genesis 5 and 7. So it's two little pieces by Caleb Ray Candrilli. Something about love. Something about union and compromise. I want to invite all American men to our wedding, someplace where the water meets the sand with its arms open. We'll marry at night, the moon risen and reflecting the sun's blushed skin. We will size our ring fingers and tie silkworms around our wrists that will stay tied for as many decades as we can muster. Bring your pop rocks and know love has begun. When my partner says sauna, sauna, I know that means soon, soon. 7. Every day I show my mother this love in my cupped hands. I tell her now, even the chipped paint on the windowsill is beautiful. When I was young, I would watch my mother split firewood, the only warmth in all that snow. Beautiful is a mother's love for her child in a parking lot, hand tight around a wrist. One day soon, all humans will know is the heat of the atmosphere, desperate love, and the relief of the moon rising. We know what we've begun. And this last piece is called I Will Love You by Being. It was written by Sean Dennison, who's also my elder child's godparent, and a minister, UU minister, well known. I will love you by being brave. I will walk directly into the eye of every storm, push back against the wind that tries to stop my forward motion, and bear the bruises from hailstones that mark my skin. I will love you by being strong. I will lift the weight of 1,000 broken hearts, pull the whole world behind me on a single chain, and break my own shell to grow tender and new. I will love you by being wise. I will close my mouth, open my eyes, my ears, my heart, push aside the obvious, the easy, the darling, and the dead, and begin again and again to know and not know everything of love. I will love you by being weak. I will reveal the tender and the vulnerable, hold myself open, pull off the armor, the exoskeleton layer by layer, and build nothing in its place. I will love you by being. I will breathe in and out and cherish the beating of my own heart, push back against anything that would suffocate my flame, burn away despair, leave room for more love. I will love you by being weak. I will love you by being wise. I will love you by being strong. I will love you by being brave. I will love you by being. Maybe so. And now we're going to sing together so that we can collect all of that and hold it in us. We're going to sing When I Am Frightened. And if you will, please rise again so we can sing together or sing joyfully from where you are.
Certain
Now's a good time. This is when we get to invite any visitors who would like to stand up and introduce themselves, maybe tell a little bit about themselves. And a microphone, as you see, usher holding microphone, doing a great job. And the usher will bring it to you. Just raise your hand. No, somebody. Only if you want to.
Just for newcomers today.
This is my son Lars, who is self-conscious about being introduced, but I am so happy he's here, and I am so proud he's here, and I guess that's it. Lars Huser Johnson.
Welcome.
Hey there. My father-in-law and mother-in-law, David and Bessie Poyster, here from Charlottesville, Virginia, and I've adopted them officially as my mother and father too. So if I say in-law, it always feels weird saying that because I love them to death. So we're here. Thanks.
That's great. Okay. Well, that's great. Is Trevor here? There he is. Okay. Wave at Trevor. Everybody wave at Trevor. Okay. Okay, there you go. He's our connections coordinator, and he'd love to meet you after the service, visitor or not, and especially if you have any questions. Our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service. If you miss them, refer to Thursday's weekly e-news, as everything is described there. If you don't receive the e-news, ask an usher to show you how to sign up or email us at information@uuasheville.org. Our community plate recipient this month is Bountiful Cities. And Kathy Cleary is here to take about 3 minutes and tell us about this food justice, climate resilience, urban agriculture nonprofit. Hey, Kathy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting Bountiful Cities to be here today and for all the work that you do in the community through Community Plate. I want to just tell you a couple things about Bountiful Cities because the organization does a lot. We believe that all people should have access to fresh food, and that can happen lots of different ways. And as we've been welcomed to do today, which is just such a beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you. We try to welcome all different kinds of ways of approaching making sure that all people have access to fresh food. And one is education. So we have public school programs. Our program is called Feast in the public schools. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe some of your kids have been through it. Maybe you went through it. But it's cooking and gardening education. And we also do that with adults every month through free workshops that we hold. We also, so on the other end of the spectrum, we do policy work. Because sometimes we have to change laws to make sure that things change and people can grow food where they want to grow food and how they want to grow food. So we facilitate the Asheville Buncombe Food Policy Council and invite people to be a part of that as well. We also, and this is the last thing I'll say up here, we also support community growing. So we do that in a lot of different ways through our community garden network. I will be around after the service, and we welcome people to get involved in our work. I have a sign-up sheet, so you can put your email on there legibly, I hope, and I will get in touch with you about getting involved. We have lots of different ways to be involved, so thank you very much.
Next up, we have our own Bella Bennett Murphy with a few special words. Bella? Here she comes.
Okay, well, good morning or afternoon now. Getting to grow up in this congregation has not only helped me, but also changed the way I've perceived the world. I've got to grown up in a community filled with love and support that I probably would not have gotten in most other places as a young Latina trans woman. I have found ways to make my voice heard, my opinions respected, and my value as a person within this community. Being here is like a second home. I have been able to meet so many wonderful people and form so many meaningful friendships. Right now, for me personally, is a very interesting time. I'm a senior in high school, which means next year I'm going off to college. And not only is that terrifying and exciting in all the normal, typical ways, but also it means that I'm going to be leaving this congregation for months at a time. And I'm truly going to miss it. But I also know that it has prepared me in so many ways for how I'm going to move forward in my life and in society. I would like to thank countless religious exploration teachers, my peers, the staff here, and my family for helping me open up to this congregation. And to be brave enough to stand here and proudly say that I am here as a bisexual trans Latina woman. I'm so thankful that you all have allowed me to grow into the woman I am today. We need a diversity of voices to be involved in the work of this congregation, and I am so very grateful for all of you for allowing me to be a part of this congregation story. Thank you.
So you see how much it matters that we are here. And that is why we are having an everybody in congregation giving campaign. We need you to help us thrive and survive. And you may recall our lighthouse, but now week by week, thanks to another one of our teens, you'll see how we're doing as we begin to fill it up with our light. We have a long way to go, friends. Come on, let's do this. Make sure you turn in your pledge. How many of you got a donut today thanks to Mike Clausen and our teens? Woohoo! That's to remind you to make pledge. And this lighthouse will show us how we're doing. We are the only ones who can make this place live and exist for all of our kids and the people to come. So please, please, please be a part of our giving campaign. And now is the time for the offertory, which Bernise will introduce more fully.
Offertory. The work and ministries of this congregation are entirely supported by the generosity of our members and friends. We celebrate your generosity each Sunday with music and thanks. You make us possible, and we give thanks for you. The offertory will now be gratefully collected.
for all that you give in the plate, in your time, in your talent, in your generous spirits. We are grateful. And so before our very, very brief benediction, one thing that I want you to know about is that the Vespers service that we're having on Wednesday, April 3rd, hosted by our Pride Plus team and others, is going to be a special dinner, hopefully cookout, and learn something new bingo. I promise you, I swear to you that you will learn something new about gender and sexuality at that bingo. Family friendly, everybody welcome, not going to be like anything more, it's not even barely PG. But come join us for that. So be there April 3rd. We want to get that on your radar. Please mark it down. 6 o'clock for dinner, 7 o'clock for everything else. And our benediction today is to go back to the words of Sean Dennison. Burn away despair. Leave room for more love. Let's sing together our closing song, Longtime Son.